There we go.
Did he bite it?
Yep.
Oh, look at that.
Didn't take too long.
We just dropped the lines down and I said to Jeff, I said, man, there's a good one. He'd be a great way to start our day. Well, let me tell you something. Well, part of that's just the wind. We're just gonna have to deal with that. Let me get this thing out of the way and we'll just bring him up right over here. Oh, it's a good eye to start, isn't it? Look at that.
There you go.
Good eater-sized fish to start right away. Look at that. It's exactly how we wanted to start our day. It's a great eye. We're doing a little bit of big water fall spinning. And you know, a lot of times, this is a really overlooked deal. I mean, you get to this time of the year and a lot of guys think about the fact that they want to go out and pull crankbaits and do this other stuff. But let me tell you something, there's a lot of spinner season left. And that's what we're gonna talk about today, is the fact that you can go out right into the fall months, especially on big water, and you can still catch fish pulling live bait, pulling spinners. And a lot of times it's just so overlooked because everybody wants to get out and pull cranks, and that's what you start hearing about is crankbaits, crankbaits, crankbaits. But if you like pulling spinners, there's a great opportunity to get out at this time of the year and still catch fish pulling spinners, hand holding the rod, or catching them on live bait, but being able to fight them all the way up versus just dragging them in on a crank. So stay right where you're at. Fish head's coming up, and this is gonna be a good one. There's one. Got him. That is one of those fish we just looked at. We were looking at that fish. I mean, literally, Jeff just got that one. I don't know if this one's I don't know. Now he's feeling a little bit better. But isn't that something else? I mean, when you end up in a situation where you're cruising along like this and you see him and you can pretty well catch him. Yeah, now he's getting better too. It's another good eye. Same thing we've been getting. Look at that.
Nothing wrong with that at all.
Oh, nothing wrong with that at all. A little bit bigger even, huh?
Yep.
Another good fish. Right. Got him. I got him. Yep. Look at that. How cool is that? It's pretty simple. I mean, I know for a lot of people, spinners got put away back at the end of July. But let me tell you, I like to keep them out a lot longer because you can go out and you can do this type of deal a lot more consistently throughout the fall than a lot of people think. Another great eye. One after another today. That's awesome right there. Get out of here, buddy. Here it is. Here's exactly what we're using. One of the things that I really do believe in, yeah, Jeff, you can get that out of there for me. That'd be great. Is picking and choosing my spinners based on water clarity. Now today we're fishing a body of water that's got pretty clear water. And when we do that, I stretch the spinner out. Today I'm using the Lindy spinner. And this is actually the crawler harness version, okay? I'm using perch. I think Jeff's got alewife down there when you look at the different colors. One of the things that's really cool about these spinners is they're chrome on the back, okay? The spinner blade being chrome is giving off flash when fish are following it. And a lot of these fish, I'm a firm believer, are following it because when we're dropping back, they're hitting it. Well, you're getting that extra flash back there and it looks like a bait fish trying to swim and get away from it, makes them chase it. The other thing about it is these are tied out of fluorocarbon and it's 14 pound, okay? So you look at a situation like we're in today, we're fishing a lake with zebra mussels in it. This fluorocarbon line is so much tougher than a standard amount of filament, and you can get away with going heavier because the fish can't see it. So that 14 pound is so important. So that's why we're fishing this Lindy spinner today, because I got 6 feet of line, I've got clear line because I'm using that fluorocarbon, and it's tough. So it can really make it so that I can cruise through these areas. If I touch down in the bottom, I don't got to worry about a weak spot on the line. I mean, I'm fishing a spinner that I was fishing earlier this year too. I mean, I haven't changed anything. All said and done, this is just an ideal rig for any of these situations where you're fishing clear water. You need a little bit more distance between your bottom bouncer and the bait itself. And when you got these zebra mussels, man, I'll tell you, these spinners are dynamite. It's a Lindy spinner and crawler harnesses. You can find them at all your favorite retailers. And I'll tell you what, it's a pretty tough spinner to beat. I mean, it's the construction of it makes it so everything you need is right there. There he is. Right when I dropped it down, Jeff got him. Yep, that's one of the fish that we just saw. I mean, they're on the screen right now. And I just dropped back on this fish when I saw him, and I do that quite often. I'll actually stop my bait. Why don't you go to the back side of me there, Jeff? He's gonna come up a little bit out there, and I'm gonna keep the boat going this way. This is a pretty good fish. But what I'll do a lot of times is what I did right there. When I see a fish, I'll set that bottom bouncer on bottom just to stop the bait for a sec. Another good eater size eye. Look at that, got him. Perfect. And that's all I did there. I just stopped that bait. And this fish, I suppose he was right there. He was looking at it. And when he saw it there, slow down and give him a second, that's when he attacked it. And that's exactly what we're looking for here, is just, whoa, almost lost my net there. But full walleyes, I mean, I'll tell you what, they'll eat a spinner. I mean, you can go out and do what we're doing today, and fish like this, they're more than willing to eat a spinner. You don't have to pull a crankbait. But there's a couple tricks I want to give you. Number one is, I'm fishing faster. I'm fishing much faster than I would have earlier in the year. I'm gonna get my pliers here and we'll get this unhooked while we talk about this. But earlier in the year, I would have been fishing a lot slower than what I'm fishing right now with my spinners. Today, I'm running these things up 1.2, 1.3, somewhere in that neighborhood. And you know, part of that is you gotta remember, guys are catching fish right now, pulling cranks. These fish are on a chew right now where they're willing to move faster. Look at that fish. Get him back in the water. He was bleeding just a little bit, but he should be fine. Yeah, there he goes. So I'm just going a little bit faster, and that's one of the big things that I think makes a big difference, is you want to get them to chase at this time of the year, because remember this, there's bait everywhere. I mean, no matter where you look right now, there's bait. We can see it on the screen, but when we come across fish, we pretty much can catch them, but we're trying to trigger them. So just like a crankbait, now we're just doing it faster, doing it with spinners and ripping past them. And then do the little things that I was talking about right there. Stopping the bait, maybe pulling it forward. Little things to trigger them, and I do that every time I see a fish on the graph. When I see a fish, I do something erratic to try to trigger him, because you gotta remember, he doesn't have to eat your bait. If you just pull it straight by him, he might just sit there and just kind of watch it go by and not do anything. But if you do something, pull it forward, stop it, whatever it may be, a lot of times you can get him to bite it. And with a spinner, the neat thing is you can do a lot of that stuff, and you're not changing you're not doing something that makes it so the action stops, is what I'm saying. If you speed it up, that blade just goes harder. If you slow it down, it just stops for a second, you pick it right back up and go. It's a really versatile way to fish them in the fall, because you can do a lot of that different stuff. Late summer, fall, this is a great time to pull spinners, and it's really overlooked.
Oh, here's one going right now. Oh,
got him?
Yeah. Yep, I got him. He got me. This one bit a lot harder than the other one. This is gonna be coming around your way again.
Let me, yeah, that's kind of just one of the things with working sideways in the wind. Let me get this out of the way. You go ahead and just take your time with him, and I'll get him scooped up for you. Oh, man, nothing's easy sometimes when you get in this kind of weather condition. Oh, another good eye. Ooh. Here's the deal, I tried to knock this fish off of here.
He wanted to be caught.
Look at that. There's your fish, bud. Go ahead and grab him right out of there. Man, what a great way to wrap up the day, I'll tell you what. One after another, and a lot of it was just kind of dialing in exactly a little area where the fish are. But here's the thing, we're not fishing one little tiny little spot. We're fishing a stretch. And in this stretch, there's a lot of walleyes, and fish like this have just been one after another all along here. I mean, that's just an awesome day of fishing. But let me throw one other thing out to you before we go. Don't put the spinners away too early, because I'll tell you what, there's a great opportunity as you head into late summer, and these fish, like Jeff said, they're meandering into those areas where they're gonna feed heavy this fall. But you can cover ground with these spinners, and you can catch fish pretty consistently, just like we have today.